Did I just go off?
All right. Welcome to another Vicenza Cougar Podcast. I am your host, and I have some good friends of mine that have popped in. We've got Vanesha, Erica, Monique, and David. You're still here. I don't know what happened.
I can't get enough of it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. I'm glad we could come together. I appreciate the timing too. Let's hop in. So it's been a while, huh? It's been.
You need to.
All right. Looks like Dave's resituating. So yeah, my God, it's been what, 30 years, at least.
At least.
Unbelievable. We all got to graduate,
who's
right?
turned 50?
Yeah, I know.
Only David has.
Hey, cut that out now.
What's it like, Dave? What's it like turning 50?
I turned 50 about 30 years ago. All them football injuries and stuff, man. Yeah. That's the hard part is the joints, man. So.
Wow.
Erica, whenever I see you pop up on Facebook, I always think of volleyball, and I always think of you serving the ball, and I always remember what a killer power serve that it was, like more powerful than anyone else. A lot of people would just like hit a little tap.
Yeah.
You had a killer move. It was just ridiculous.
And my daughter is the same way, and she's a little thing, and she has got the strength. It's just amazing to watch her. She's way better than I ever will be, could have been. She's like amazing. Yeah, and she's so tiny. She's like Vanesha tiny.
That's awesome. In Vanesha, what I forget, you were in volleyball too, right? Huh?
Well, no. Okay. I tried out for volleyball, and my hand couldn't take that type of pain, so I quit. I could not do the volleyball situation. So I did cross country, basketball, and track. And the only reason I joined basketball was just to travel, because I had not played a day in my life. So
that was one of the best times.
I was glad to sit on the bench just to travel until Pellerito had me going in my junior year, and then by my senior year I was captain. But I knew not a thing about playing basketball. I just wanted to travel.
Yeah, so the trips were the best.
The trips were the best.
Oh man. I think that's why we did it.
Playing volleyball and trying out and did it, and I don't know how y'all did that. And so my daughter, that was her game in high school, so I kind of lived vicariously through her. She was really good. She was better.
That's awesome. Monique, you were there too, right? What you were? Did you?
Look. Admittedly, because I still am. I'm that BBW girl. I'm the big girl, so I didn't play nothing. So I was the manager of everything, and I learned early on. I was just like, you need to join something because ain't nobody in school on Fridays. So I did run track. I was the manager of everything, but yeah, I did excel in the field part of track for shot put and disc. So I was very good at that. But running, Coach Dempsey used to threaten the team all the time. I'm gonna put Monique in. If you can't run faster than that, I'm gonna put Monique in. I was like, hell, you're gonna lose. You might as well lose pretty good, because I'm gonna be the last one coming in.
Oh my God. There's a video on one of the Vicenza pages that has a track meet. I think unfortunately I think there's one of you, David. Sure, there definitely is. There's one where you're making commentary about the game or something. But I remember the one with Willie Ellis flying. Coach Summers and my father are at the top of the tower, just having a blast watching it. Yeah, that's a good one. I like watching. I actually ended up watching that a few times, but that one brings me back.
There's an exhibit A from Monique on track.
Oh.
In my homemade shorts and everything else. That's exhibit A.
I love it. Vanesha, I'm glad you brought some
Oh,
What are
I
those artifacts? Those
No
are
French
artifacts. Or
Riviera
those are
folks.
bribery. Erica? What did you do? Did you do tennis or?
Yeah, I did tennis. I tried to play basketball. I wasn't very good. Yeah.
you got in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coach
but it was
Pellerito.
fun. Yeah.
Coach Pellerito had some odd ways of like making you guys. It looked like torture in some ways. Some of the no dribble at all theory or something.
Yes, to this day, I tell my kids on the sideline, I'm like, don't you dribble that ball unless you. And my kids, my daughter would turn around on the court and be like,
Oh,
Mom, sit
so Erica, I don't know if you missed out on basketball, but I mean,
Yeah.
volleyball had to be fun.
Yeah, that was fun. And then traveling with you all, I was thinking every time I hear that Metallica song, I think of you. What was it? You used to play that song. You loved it. Oh.
Me?
Yes, it was a Metallica song you played on the bus.
I was not really that much of a heavy metal guy, but
there was one song that you played that you really liked. I'll think of it. I'll think of it.
Okay.
And so every time I hear it, I think of I think it was a trip. Maybe we were in Rome or something like that. And yeah.
I mean, I know in volleyball we had a blast with the music. I mean,
Yeah.
Johnny Cohut would come together with a mix of music I've never heard before.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it sounds good. Let's dance. And we had a performance too. We had an opening performance, kind of like basketball with the bell-bottom sweatpants. The guys would come in floating around the whole court and then get rolling, swirling into layups and stuff. That was always fun. That was probably the best time of the show.
Yeah.
Oh man. So man, sports they take us way back. So what do you guys miss? Like Monique, what do you miss about Vicenza? What sticks in your mind?
I mean, I really just kind of miss just the community part of it. You know, being a civilian all these years now is really kind of, you just miss the community part of, and not just necessarily just Vicenza, just being a military brat. You know, you just miss being part of something. I felt like it was special. It's different than here. You know, I've lived here in Mississippi now 10 years, and I don't know my neighbors. I know the people I work with, that's it, but I don't know my neighbors. And so, you know, I just miss that kind of a thing about being in Italy. Yeah.
And this is proof, like more than 30 years later, here we are. We're still connected in the same good way. And to your point, I agree. It's a tragedy. It's like, I miss that too. So, Erica, what about you? What do you miss about Vicenza?
I came in late, so my middle of junior year, and just how you all welcomed me and befriended me, and I just really just love that, and I miss that, like Monique says, that community part where, you know, as a military brat, you grow up and then you often move a lot, but then when you land in the place, your next station, and like, okay, your family, you're here. Hi, let's be friends. And when you're here in our society now, my kids don't have that. They don't play with kids on their street. And, you know, the neighbors don't talk to each other. You know, living in Italy, we lived off base. We didn't live in the housing area, so we live off base. But our Italian neighbors, we became friends with. So, I mean, it was just a wonderful experience. And I wish my kids could have had that life, had that experience. So
I feel you. Totally.
Yeah.
Getting a neck somewhere. I feel like I'm going into work protocol. Everybody mute themselves.
I have to do that every morning, people, and turn your cameras on because I want to see what you look like. You ready to work?
Look at you. Yeah, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Doesn't mean I'm doing it, but. Vanesha, how about you? What have you been missing about Vicenza?
I think it's the exact same thing. And actually also like at that age, so much freedom our parents gave us. Dave, when I listened to the podcast and you were talking about Oklahoma and when you lived there, you had to be home before those lights came on. Okay, that was what life was like before I went to Italy. We were in Maryland, Edgewood, Maryland, and boy, I remember running to the house trying to get there before those lights came on. Yeah, and you better had been home too. But once we got to Italy, my parents, you know, it's like they loosened up, you know, allowed us to do things. I think the first couple months they were kind of like just trying it out, you know, with the shuttle bus. Like you, David, many a times missed that shuttle bus going to Torre Porto Solo and trying to get back home before the bus, try to figure it out, you know. That's pretty much what I think I missed, but just the ability to hop on the public transportation, whether it be train or bus, and just explore, you know, with your friends, you know, that's really what I miss. That's really what I miss.
It's funny you say that. You just mentioned earlier about your son wanting to be chauffeured everywhere, even if it's a mile down the road. And I bet your comment about the shuttle bus is where you're ringing true. You're like,
yeah. Well, he don't want to be chauffeured. He actually wants to drive by himself. It's not gonna happen. Yeah.
That's funny because Harold and I, now you know, I'm gonna jump in here real quick and give my little 2 minutes. We used to take my dad's car, put it in neutral, push it down the street, and go cruising all night long. And then we come back, drop it off about 4 a.m, and then my dad be pissed off going off on my mother. I just filled up the tank. Why has it only got a quarter tank of gas?
Oh my gosh.
That was my driving experience.
Oh gosh, no, I wasn't that bold, Dave. But I think our kids, for me, my kids grew up in the military as well, but it still was a different experience. We lived on a couple of the military post base. My son graduated at Lackland. David, that's when I saw you, when you remember we saw each other quickly at Lackland. And even then, once we moved on Lackland from off base, they did have a little bit of freedom, but they couldn't get away with anything because I told them I tried it. The things y'all gonna try, I've been there, done that. Don't even think you're gonna get away with it. But it's just still very, very different. It's still a very different experience. And, you know, I went back to Vicenza as an adult. My husband was in command over there. So I went back and I worked at the school and I helped coach Dempsey with the girls track team as an adult.
Wow.
And that was quite an experience. I loved it. The girls tried to sneak out like we used to. I used to sleep right in front of that door. I'm like, nope, I already know what y'all have planned. So it was just a different experience going back as an adult, you know, and experiencing that.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had no idea you were there.
Yeah, my daughter was born over there.
Oh, wow.
And part of it, you can no longer go to the hospital on base. So I had to go to an actual Italian hospital.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Not a good experience, but anyway.
Different. So social health care isn't exactly perfect. I get that. Especially recently. But that's wild. I didn't realize you'd come back there. So, yeah. Monique, who you got there? I'm a cat person.
That's Mr. Garfield.
Look at him. Look at it. Just totally relaxed, chill. Doesn't matter. One of my cats would never let me hold them like that. Just like they'd be tense and.
No, he loves it. He loves it.
Unless they want to be fed, but yeah, that's awesome. I did try to invite a guest. They might join us shortly. I'm going to see if they pop in here. That little participant thing has to pop in, show up. Anyway, so wow, it's only been a few years, and well, you know what? Let's talk about a couple of things that we in the more recent times here we've lost a few friends and such. It's just to your point, we're getting old, so it's sad to say some people are moving on. So and I just knew that all of us knew Shannon, who recently passed of COVID, I figured, this wouldn't be a memorial, but, like I just wanted us to jump in and remember her and throw in a couple of words, because not everybody who sees the posts know who she is. And we did. And, I appreciate the whole Vicenza community joining in prayers and goodwill, and being supportive throughout the time when she, I'd say almost, started with the being intubated and so forth. But because it was surprising, I felt like we didn't even know until we knew, and then she was, intubated. I mean, it was like the week or two prior, she had made some comments. She had thrown in some who, what, I think we were talking about Chris Lane, another class of '89 who, but I don't think it was COVID with him. I think it was other health concerns, maybe a heart attack or something. But we were just kind of like that. That was a big surprise. And then the next thing I mean, I was expecting teachers and stuff, but and losing Coach Draculich was something. And I'm not trying to quickly skip over these names, not that we, can talk about it, but I know that Shannon was somebody much closer to this group of friends. So
Shaun Turner as well.
Shaun Turner, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Shaun Turner. I'm still surprised to hear about Shaun Turner passing. I just, I don't know. I'm looking at statistics thinking, what, young, healthy, not an old 80-something-year-old, health degeneration. No. And so it was sad. But, Shannon was so sweet. She was so awesome. She was always nice to everybody. She never had she may have tried to present an attitude, but it was always too easy and sweet to come across. Like,
the shade.
Shy love.
The shade. Yeah, Shannon
love.
Vanesha, what are your thoughts? You've been really good about sharing.
She and I were really, really good friends from the time she got over there and kind of welcomed her. We spent a lot of time at each other's houses. So I think that's the difference. Her mom was so sweet. And I knew I could go out to her house. She lived way out on the economy. I can't remember where it was, but her mom would take us to the taquerias and let us have wine, stuff that my parents definitely weren't doing. So I'd be like, I'm gonna stay at Shannon's house. We're gonna go to the dance and her dad is gonna and we would go out there and, knew the little Italian guys out in the neighborhood. So, I really thought I was grown. So her mom was the sweetest. I don't know if you ever knew, but she's just a little small thing, just the sweetest. And she lost her mom a few years back to cancer, so that was a very difficult time for her as well. So that this one hit really, really close. Shaun hit close to home. Shaun, we were good friends and in the little community, especially with track and basketball too, right? Shaun played basketball. So that kind of hit, Will took it really hard, and I talked to him like through that process as well. And we, Chris Lane, he was just a gentle giant. That's why I used to call him. He was so sweet, So
and I will not forget to point out we have a survivor with us right there, pretty as can be, Mississippi. I mean, you inspired hope and positivity by sharing what you shared throughout your what it was like.
It was really tough. I tell you, being isolated in your own house, that's a tough thing. I mean, these four walls was my sanctuary for 2 weeks, and I almost felt like I was in jail. But because they would leave food outside my door on the tray and knock on the door, your breakfast is ready. I'm just like, pissing me off now. I'm mad. Stop knocking on my door. And then I would sneak out at night. I would put my mask on, my gloves on, and I would go in the kitchen and I'd be like, I'm gonna get what I want to get.
Oh my goodness.
It was tough being just isolated in my own house. And then finally I realized, I was like, dummy, you got access to the backyard through your room, because I have a sunroom that has a door to the backyard. And then I was just like, go sit outside. You ain't got to sit in your room all day.
Yeah.
And so finally I was like, oh, I'm sitting outside. No, sit out there. I'll be out there. 2 or 3 hours at a time, just looking at the fence because it ain't nothing going on back there, me and the dog. But it was a tough time. I'm glad I made it through. I definitely still am not fully recovered. I still have some things that are going on. They're checking on my liver enzymes now because apparently my body is wanting to do something crazy with my liver. So they're checking on that, and they do honestly believe it's COVID related. So it's still some things going on, and I'm just going to throw this in here really quick. Keep my parents in prayer. Both of them have tested positive. My dad, he thought he had the flu, and so he suffered through it for about a week. And then once mom started getting sick, I was like, go get tested. Please go get tested. I was like, y'all better be glad I'm in Mississippi, because I tell you what, if I was in Maryland, I'd be
Mute.
We got your mute.
It has been but getting better. Dad is coming out of it. Mom hasn't had any fever in a few days, and so I think they're coming out of it, and they've been in contact with their doctors and whatnot, but just keep them in prayer.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Back in July, I think I had it. I still think I did. One day I just got extremely exhausted and just could not keep myself together, just kept literally just sitting here just falling asleep. And then I started getting, hard to breathe, and that's when I started getting really scared. I went and got the oximeter or whatever.
Oximeter, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, something's just not right. And then I started having chest pains, and it was just so scary. So I finally went to the ER. I drove myself to the ER. And by then I told the boys, don't come in the room, just, stay out there. And I went and they couldn't find anything, but to this day, and I ended up being in there feeling really bad for a good week and a half. Just could not, and I was scared. I wouldn't sleep at night. So I'd be like sitting up there, it just makes you paranoid.
Yeah.
You're just thinking and can't breathe and, can't even think. So.
Yeah, that's what the doctor told me. He said probably that, because I spent a couple nights in the hospital, but they couldn't really find anything. But they were saying you're probably making yourself more panicky. And so that's the reason why you feel like your chest is tight and this, that, and the other. But I was just like, no, I ain't playing. I got insurance, baby. I'm going to the doctors. I called the emergency room. I said, I tested positive for COVID. I'm outside in your parking lot. Can somebody come get me?
Good.
Wow.
I was like, I pay for insurance. I'm going to the doctor. Y'all ain't gonna deny me my services.
Right.
So,
Erica,
but yeah, scary
Erica,
time.
did you? You're. I feel bad saying I don't. You're a nurse, is that right?
Yeah. Yes, I'm a nurse. Yeah.
So you're a warrior.
Yeah. So when you were all when Vanesha was posting about Shannon, I knew what would happen. But of course, being a very religious person, of course I'm praying, but I could see the writing on the wall. So yeah, and my husband just had it. We were on quarantine for a few weeks. That is hard, Monique, to be on quarantine in your own house. And yes, my husband said he was in jail back in the room. We sent him food. Hey, don't come back out here. So yeah, but it's a hard thing. And right now our hospitals are so full of patients, and they're not all COVID. It's people not going to the hospital before because they were scared to catch COVID. So now their comorbidities, your diabetes or your hypertensions are out of control. And so those are what's really are taking our beds in our hospitals. So we are very tight in staffing, and it's pretty overwhelming for our nursing staff. I mean, just all our therapists, all of us.
Well, thank you for
prayers.
Thank you for being one of our warriors, our
Thank
front
you.
and center. It's important, and thank you so much. By the way, Marcus, somebody named Marcus just joined.
I see.
Oh.
I see the name, but there's
Get
nothing there.
out of here.
Must be shy.
Yeah, I'm having video problems. What's going on, people?
Man, what's the goings on, brother?
Feel like a voice from afar coming in. I'm hearing voices.
That'll be me.
Thanks for joining us, Marcus. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah. And your timing was we were covering some unfortunate, sad realities of being older, even though your Instagram posts do not show that you're getting older. You look the same. Feel strong.
Let's tell you.
I know. And for those who don't know, Marcus Leonard is definitely another 1988 graduate, right?
We definitely know who that
Class of
is.
88.
Marcus, I thought you were a lot more clean cut, but David kind of threw some shade on you about what you guys used to do back in Vicenza. Something.
I have no recollection of what David's talking about.
Oh, okay. There we go. There you go.
Many,
But I got
many
the
years ago.
pictures.
And you're a teacher now, is that right? You couldn't get enough of school. You said I gotta be a part of that.
You know, the working world showed me I need to go work with kids because adults were driving me crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if I got to deal with the behaviors, it might as well come from kids. So
Not the same, right? But
So I have another exhibit for, I don't know that Monique and Erica are in this one. You remember that?
Oh.
wow.
that's the
Holy
yeah.
smokes.
Oh, that's the
Prom.
Prom.
88. There,
Oh
David,
my
there's the hair you
gosh.
were talking about. That's the
Oh,
hair.
that
Holy
was great
smokes.
hair.
No. That's it. The kid and play haircut.
Yeah.
Hey, that was cameo because
Tammy,
Kid Play
yes.
they weren't out yet. So we had
Yeah.
cameo.
You're right.
you were setting a
Man.
trend and you didn't know it.
Yeah, he was the trendsetter. That was some pretty good hair.
Ooh, man. You know
I
what was funny?
remember- Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say my hair looked like Harold's at first when I first dyed it, but because I swam so much, it turned that color.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
I went to get a touch up and it got even lighter. And I said, holy smoke. I don't know if I can keep this.
Did have a few shades of yellow in there. Yeah, I agree. But that didn't matter. Still liked you for who you were.
And Marcus wouldn't join us, so you know.
I did it too, but I wasn't doing the color.
Oh man. So yeah, sports. Well, again, we've done a good thing of covering our friends who've passed, and we were just going into the Vicenza sports trips, which I think is a very important part of our upbringing. You know, because first time you ever do anything, first time the coach tells you can, and then you feel like you've grown. Some for whatever that step may be. You I don't know, Dave, maybe you ran the 100 meters in 15 seconds and you felt like you're the greatest guy in the world. So.
Oh, that's hilarious.
What was your
but
fastest time?
10:86, I believe.
Slow.
Yeah, it was real slow.
Yeah. So yeah, do share, please. Go ahead. Give us a sense of what was that like? You'd never run track?
Never run track. I told you I was a baseball player, and then since we didn't really have an organized team, and I was like, I think because of the trips, I was just like, man, I'm not getting left behind. I was like the elders, like, shoot, I got to get on something. So I'm gonna jump on this trip, and Dempsey had me doing all kinds of stuff. I was like, man, this sucks. I gotta find my niche. I can't sit here and be doing triple jump, long jump, pole vault, high jump. It's like, yep.
Awesome. Marcus, what were you, football, basketball, track? Is that right?
Yeah, football, basketball, track.
Okay. Did you guys play football together?
Yeah, that's how we met our sophomore year, playing football right on those bus trips up front because we couldn't get a good seat. So we were sitting up way up in the front of the bus. And we sat and talked.
Hey, Marcus and I would be like, I can't wait till we take this school over.
Y'all were mad, huh?
Oh man, it was horrible.
Nah, we just saw how those seniors walked around and said that's gonna be us real soon.
That's awesome.
I remember one trip. I think we were going to Naples. It was track, I know, but was it you, Dave, that started cramping up? And I remember Coach running to the back of the bus, put ice on him, put ice on him. It was like a medical emergency.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was because
Everything stopped for the player of the school. Not a celebrity, not NBA.
I'm sure he was just sitting in the chair right next to Marcus, and they were doing their homework, right? 'Cause that's why the legs are cramping up.
I'm sure we had some wine back there.
Oh, God.
Well, the prior days it was NyQuil, at least.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
What I
goodness.
never heard. I was still, optimizing myself, so I had nothing to do with that. I know anything about it. Caught up eventually, but Marcus, what do you miss about Vicenza? What is it nowadays that comes to mind when you think about it?
The people, of course. Like I said, the people and just the travel, just being around, being able to see history.
Yeah.
Being able to see things that you never get to see again or hope to get to see again. Just being around the people for the most part, though. That was just a special time.
Does that pop into conversation with the kids? I apologize, I didn't hear what you're teaching these days. If it's math or whatnot.
No, I teach math middle school. So I'm in middle school math.
Don't miss it. Oof.
From time to time, we'll have a conversation like that. But unfortunately, the kids that I teach, they haven't really left their hometowns much of anything. They don't know much. Some of them, haven't even been up to Atlanta. 20 minutes away and haven't been to Atlanta. So we get to talking about it sometimes, but for the most part, it's trying to keep them on track.
Yeah. Core.
That's the thing, how we used to go to like Rome or Milan, and we're like over Rome, and you're like, oh my God, here I am again at this thing. You don't appreciate. It's like, who said that? I'm seeing the Basilica again. 3 years of it, and you don't appreciate it. So when I went back as an adult, we were stationed, I saw it from a different view, and I appreciated it so much more. You got all these pictures of all of this. You take pictures, and you're like, and then you're like, I used to go this. I went to that all the time. You didn't appreciate it, but as an adult, you're like, wow, millions of people, want to go see this particular building, and then we're sitting here taking it for granted.
Exactly.
We were focused on other things ourselves.
Oh gosh.
Hey, Marcus.
Sorry, I was going to say quick point, Marcus. You hit a good point. I can tell you, Italian kids that would live in Vicenza never went to Venice. So it's like I thought that was odd back in the day too. But I'm like, really? I mean, adults. I'm talking to adults. Like, no, I don't. What's there to do in Venice? I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean,
It's true.
Yeah, because of the way we grew up, I can't understand how you want to stay in one city your whole life. I'm like, this is it. This is all you want to do. I can't understand that.
Yeah, I feel the same way even now. I mean, I've got roots and all that, but I just feel like I could move anywhere. Still, I don't feel like it's a privilege. It's like I just don't feel like it's like Vicenza was. Which again, I think we hit that topic. It's the community. We all just had a level of respect for each other, and in general, we were all pretty well adjusted. So it worked. It worked really well.
And everybody knew everybody because we graduated with a class, 50, 55. So everybody knew everybody.
And you got to play 3 sports if you tried, or if you wanted to, or something. If you could be a part of it. Let me refilter that, right, Monique?
Somehow.
No, but that was the thing. You wanted to be with your friends, you all day and night, and then that was it. But I mean, my son goes to a public school and 500 kids. Now, granted, it's pandemonium and all at this point. Maybe it'll be different just with a vaccine, but he's not going to get a chance to play 3 sports. I don't even try. I can't share those lessons in the same way. And so, basketball's likely out. I mean, kids are like 8th graders are dunking. I'm like, I can't even explain to my son how just go, you can do it, work harder. It's like, let's focus on that Xbox. But he's a great student, and I know I'm sharing here, right? He is. I mean, I have nothing to say about his focus. He's like, I'm gonna get my homework done in advance. I'm gonna go. He's like days ahead and stuff, and I'm like, and he feels good about that, and I'm like, I think that's great.
Absolutely.
Definitely didn't get that from you.
No. I had a different sense of standard. I did. I was just a B plus, above average, whatever. C was average. So I was like, I just want to at least get a B or more. But I never took Italian because I spoke Italian. All right. I always thought my friends were slackers, the ones that grew up fluent the Italians. I'm like, why are you taking Italian? What are you learning something? Come on.
Oh, I couldn't stand that chick that taught Italian. Oh my gosh.
Which one?
I don't think anybody could.
The Fresco?
Yes, Miss Refresco. Oh my gosh. That's why I ended up taking Spanish. Yeah, that's why I ended up taking Spanish.
There was some other lady though that was there too, Miss Dean, I think. I don't remember, but
No, I took Spanish with Miss O'Keefe.
Yeah,
Miss O'Keefe is bomb.
Yes, she's the mom.
Hey, how you say chili frio? How you say cold chillin' in Spanish?
cold chillin'.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Teachers, yes. Let's talk about our favorite teachers. Go round robin here.
Mr. Hakeem.
Mr.
Okay.
Hakeem, yeah.
Okay, name
It's
one
Ricky
thing.
for me.
Tell a story. Come on, let's get some details.
It was Hakeem for me in art class because I loved how he said bottles. I'm just saying, it's some T's in there somewhere, brother. It ain't bottles. But no, I loved him for art class. English was cool, but I loved him in art class, definitely. And then because he was the cross country coach, and of course I was cross country manager, we will always go. I was the manager of everything, I've already admitted. But he would make sure, especially if we went to Venice cross country team had to take a side trip to go somewhere in Venice. He always made sure we saw the art of everywhere we went. So yeah. Hakeem for me.
All right.
Miss Ritchie too. I'm not gonna lie. I loved Miss Ritchie for home ec. Oh my God.
Oh yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was I had taken home ec already. In my senior year, I really didn't have any classes to take. And so they kind of they named classes advanced everything. So I was taking advanced home ec, whatever the hell that is. So I got to go to the commissary and get groceries for her. It was craziness, but I was taking advanced choir. I'm just like, what the hell is advanced choir?
You're funny. Erica, what about you? What did you say?
Yeah, Mr. Hakeem, I just loved art. And of course, when we went on our trips, I mean, just how he made you see the art and appreciate it. Especially at that age, you're like, okay, I'm on a trip. But then I remember going to the Guggenheim, museum, and that just sticks out at me. So yeah, I just loved him. And then is he still alive?
I think so.
Yes, I'm Facebook friends with him.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so I'm Facebook friends with him, so it's cool.
He puts a little bit out there on
Yeah.
not too much.
Not
So
much.
yeah, we don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I could rummage around with the rest of the faculty kids and see if anybody knows anything. Speaking of faculty kids, Bart's over in Bologna. Bart Dracula's kind of stayed in Italy. He's just kind of he spent a little. I mean, he came to the States, went to college, and then he went back. He found a job, and then now he's working for the University of Johns Hopkins University, and yeah, he's like I don't know, like the dean or something, like the man to know. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's got. I got to see him a long time ago. It was great. But we still talk on email and so forth. I sent him the link to David and I's podcast there, especially because David remembered Bart in particular when they went scuffling with each other. So because I knew Bart so well, I'm like, Bart, I don't know this to be you or to be true, but David said you guys, you gave him a good punch. All right, what's that all about? He's like, I don't really remember, but And then anyway, he just said, yeah, that's great. And he's always good. And he did say, whenever you're in Bologna, David, he wants to have a glass of white wine with you, which I'm like, that sounds so weirdly European. But I'm sharing what Bart said. So
I'll make that a point.
like David was a thug, like really. I mean, you're a thug. We've got great things going on in life here. Please, Marcus, how about you? Favorite teacher or teachers?
That'd be Mr. Ritchie, hands down.
Really?
Just
Yep.
his
That
humor
dude
and
was hilarious.
walk around with that pipe, and he never took things too serious, and that just vibed with me.
That's awesome.
And then
I'd say,
his
'cause I would
people
imagine
calling
you'd be
people say people's names backwards. That stuff with me
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a great teacher, great guy.
Yeah.
He was a great coach too. It was great playing soccer for him. Rest his soul. Vanesha, how about you?
Pretty much loved a lot of them. Mr. Kleb was really good with the Jeopardy, just having that experience there. I hated history though, but just the way that I think all of the teachers tried to make teaching as fun as it could be over there, so it was really good. I liked Hakeem, but I hated art. I had to take the stupid class, and I hate anything artsy, but I remember paying Everett to do my drawings for me because, he got like Artist of the Year in Europe. And so he was like, I'll do it for you. I'll do your homework for you. You got to pay me $20. I worked at the commissary. So I was like, I thought it was big money. I paid, and Mr.
That was
Hakeem,
big money back then.
he ripped it up and threw it in the trash. He was like, this is not your drawing. I'm like, yes, it is. And he said, no, this is Everett's drawing. And I'm like, no.
No, it's mine. I paid for it.
I paid for it.
Mine.
I remember one was like an apple and one was something. I'm like, I don't know, and I never forget that. I'm like, oh my God, so.
That's funny. That's awesome. Oh, for me, obviously being a teacher's kid, it's, they're all good. And that's an easy answer. And no, what am I going to tell you about why I liked my dad? Oh, well. What a shocker. No, I think, let me think here. I mean, every teacher was great. I liked Mr. DeMasso, obviously the only music teacher, but I liked DeMasso because I felt confident and I could play the trumpet at the time, and it felt like we could do things. And I mean, we used to go around as a group and we were playing jazz concerts, and I'm like first string soloing on stuff, riffing, and I'm nowhere close to Dizzy Gillespie or anybody of the sort, but it still felt like I was like on stage front with the whole group, of course. And that was fun. That was something unique that wasn't a part of the standard, work. So I like that. I like DeMassa. Of course, I like all the teachers. I knew them as a kid, but I also, for me, school was family. So it wasn't like, I'm going to school and my teachers are, I just knew who they were, so anyway.
Let me ask you, the gym was redone while we were there, right? Remember when they redid the gym? So I don't know about you all, but I remember going to like Coach Dempsey. If I wanted just like to be out of a class, I used to go there and I'm like, do you need help doing anything? And we could always bet that Coach Dempsey would write you a pass. I'm like, please. I don't know how many of you all did that, but
I lived in gym. I'd leave another class and go to gym for the rest of the class.
Yes.
We used to do that in Spanish all the time. Miss O'Keefe, I need to go to the restroom. And we
Yep.
go play ball in the gym for about an hour, then come back and be all sweaty.
What y'all do in the bathroom?
I just wasn't feeling good, Miss O'Keefe.
Loved it.
Oh man, yeah, they've redone the gym a few times, and it has changed. If you ever go back, it's not like it's not the same anymore. Ironically, you'll find some people that look familiar. You may never have talked to them, but all of a sudden you know them by face. They're still there, but it has changed. I still go as if it's my home, so it's weird for me when people are asking me things like, who are you? It's like, what do you mean? Don't you know? Don't you know who I am? So, but yeah, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun seeing all the, I've been able to go back and I can't wait to go back. My next trip is more about sharing and showing it to my son. And again, you get stuck in these like, okay, it's such an effort to go to Italy that, cost and everything and time and making time in your schedules. And it's just like, so you pack so much in. You want to like see everything, and it's like I saw some friends in Rome, and I was telling them what we're gonna do. It was my wife and I were 10 days. We were packing in what they might do in 2 years, and we were just like, no, we're gonna go here, Venice, Verona, Vicenza. We're gonna go fly over there. We might go to Lake Como. We might to Lake Garda, and then we're gonna go back to Florence, and then we'll stop by and go. And my friend's like, I don't know, man. That's just too much. And he was right. We were exhausted by the time we came home.
I'm just headed to the nude beach.
Yes, hello. Yes, hello.
You're gonna be one of those old guys there. You know what I'm saying?
With the gold chain and the chest hairs.
Did you go while you were there, Dave?
Yeah.
See, we went with my family. We went with my
fifth.
family, and my dad just was so embarrassing. We're like, where are you going with those Speedos? What are you doing?
Hey, I swear.
Embarrassing thing ever. Most embarrassing.
That's all I'm
Now,
gonna
there
say.
was a water park we went to where
Yeah.
it was tops optional.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then I remember we walked around bug-eyed for like an hour when we first got there. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I admit that's something I want to out of the side of my eye watch my son just be like, no, what are you talking? It's just natural. It's what's going on out here. What are you freaking out about?
Yeah, it was natural, all right.
Yeah, the water park. Are you talking about the one over at Lake Garda?
That might be it. I can't remember the
Yeah.
name. I just know it was a
Yep.
big water park we used to go to.
It had a real
Yep.
big kamikaze ride, like you know,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
to like try to fly off the top. Like that was a cool thing to do. Like literally, if you fell to the left or to the right, you know, you're done. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know what other like fun, great memories like just pop into your head. Like, what is it that comes
Oh,
back to you and
goodness.
like you're stuck trying to share a story with people around you that have no sense of what you're talking about? You're like, oh, it's gonna take all
Vanesha.
this work to get to
Yes.
make my point. It's like I gotta build a foundation so you get a sense of where we are, and then I'm gonna share this.
So our trip
Vanesha
to
started
Nice,
off.
France. Our trip to Nice, France was epic. It was a senior trip for the youth center. Remember that spring break?
Yeah.
And I saved up all my commissary money because my mom was like, "You're not going, you know, your brother's not going." I'm like, "I don't care if he goes or not. I want to go to this trip." And I saved up, and we took the what was her name, who was over the youth center with the long blonde hair. But yeah, we went, and remember she was dating some guy from high school. Remember?
Yep. They married.
So
They had a kid.
yeah, so we took the overnight train and went to Nice, French Riviera for a week
Oh.
of unaccompanied. Well, we're supposed to have chaperones. Never saw them once we got there.
Ooh.
Don't know how I survived the whole week that we were there because clearly God was on our side. We rented mopeds. Jabril was there, Dion, Monica, Dave. Out of control. I have the pictures here. My kids would look at my old album at one point. I think they were like in middle school. They're like, "Why are you on the bed like that, fully clothed?" I'm like, "Oh, I was tired. We went to go see some sights." Listen was trying to make it through the end of the week.
Spring break. Spring
Yeah.
break.
Jabril used to
Spring
make those
break.
cocktails.
Jabril, oh my gosh. Out of
And yeah, I'm gonna make this screwdriver,
Yes.
this hammer, this
Dion was there too. Dion was there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got that picture with you three standing up on the rooftop.
Yeah, I have tons of them right here on my lap. It was crazy. We met
Oh,
some
shit.
French guys there, and they just took us all over the place. Went to the discotheques. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't
it
remember.
was-
I remember being very bored, and
No.
I was not in the social elite.
Oh,
It was funny because I think that's the year that Charles went back to the States for spring break. So I was like, he's like, "You're going where?" I'm like, "I'm going to Nice, France." Like, going and enjoy myself.
man, that was a great trip.
Best time ever.
That was the first time I actually had something to drink and
Oh gosh.
got ripped. Holy smokes. Yeah.
What?
Ooh.
So what about the July 4th big fireworks day? What do you guys remember that?
Oh yeah, because I had to work it.
Okay. Like we used to have the base put on a big show. They even allowed tons of Italians into the base. It was, thousands of people coming to see the fireworks. But we had like the bumper cars, usually over near the officers club or that pavilion that used to be there. I don't know what's there anymore.
You remember that tower, the jump tower?
Yeah.
So I used to have to work there because they had the gun range back there as well. Well, I don't know why, but everybody seemed to want to go back there and take a dump back there. And they would try and make me clean it up. And I had to actually call my dad and say, Dad, they're trying to make me clean up shit. And he came up there and went off. I was like, I'm not touching no Duke.
Don't you know who I am? Do you know?
Yeah. I had to call my dad up. I was like, Dad, they're trying to do me and I can't do
Good for
it.
you. No, thank you.
I remember the summer hire programs. I love
Exactly.
that. Being able to start working at age 14 in a real work environment, that's always so memorable to me.
Really?
We worked a lot. We worked together at one of the places. I just found
for Mr. Gross. Wasn't his name Gross?
I don't know, but I found a Polaroid picture. It's over there somewhere. Me and you in the office looking like we were so professional.
Nothing
I
changed.
remember when I worked for I worked in the police station one year.
Me too.
Man, I was just like, she did what? I'm reading this stuff. I'm like,
reading the bladder report.
Oh,
I
goodness.
worked there with Mr. Mack, LaShonda Mack's dad at the time.
Holy smacks.
And I loved working at the MP station because he let us read the bladder reports. And it was like, ooh.
Yeah. Talk about a community that knows everything.
Yeah. I love that opportunity for the summer hire program. You're getting your own paycheck. I mean, granted, it was like $2.85, but shoot,
Yeah.
Buy some Benetton. Got to buy a sweater.
Gotta go to the Benetton store.
That along with the commissary money.
Mm-hmm.
That made
Like I worked all summer. I'm gonna go buy a Benetton sweater.
Right.
And I'm gonna wear it every day of every school week of every.
Oh gosh, yeah. You worked so hard. You went to the markets. That's how I got my school clothes. We would go to the markets, Camisano market, and just hope that somebody else is not wearing that same sweater as you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
For prom, you don't want to show up with the same prom just because everyone went to the PX. So my mom knew an Italian lady who made mine both years that I was there. So I was like, I don't want to look like anybody else. So I want to get a pattern.
Yeah, mine made too. I forget who made it, but I got mine made too. Yeah.
Hey, Marcus, we had those karate shoes, remember?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, the karate shoes and the fila hats.
And the what?
The fila hats.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It's so funny how fashionable we were back then. We like, my dad, he went to Turkey one year. I don't know what he was there for, but some inspection. It's funny. Somebody asked me yesterday, what did my dad do in the military? But I don't know. I don't know. That was growing up in business. I don't know. I didn't ask him what he did. He was in the military. That's all I know.
Oh my gosh.
But he went somewhere one year and he came back with all these MCM bags. Now, the only reason why he got them for me is because those are my initials, Monique Chanel McCoy. And he said, I saw your initials on everything, so I got all these bags for you. I was just like, I didn't know I was the shit. I was just like, I got me some designer stuff here.
I think my dad was the only person who never went to the field. I swear to God. I was so disappointed because everyone's dad went to the field. My dad was a mechanic. He worked there by Burger King. He was a mechanic. He worked in that little building where all the trucks would be lined up in the and I remember trying to skip school one day. And I thought maybe he was off on the economy somewhere doing something. Oh my God, I got busted right there. He's like, where are you going? I'm like, I think I have a dental appointment, down there. And we didn't have telephone, so he couldn't call my mom and ask her. I turned my behind right back and went back to school.
It was a cleaning. Oh, Marcus,
And-
were you getting into much trouble or getting caught, I should say, back in Vicenza?
Not at home, no. We did mischievous things, but we didn't do things that were going to get us in a lot of trouble. We'd run around, we'd mess with people, and we'd be where we weren't supposed to be. But no, we weren't trying to get caught up in trouble. That wasn't me. If I'm in trouble, I'm snitching. So I told him not to be in trouble.
Oh God.
Yeah, Marcus. Well, there was the Black Amigos time where it was me,
Oh.
Marcus, Harold, and then there was me and Harold time after hours.
Yeah, because Harold lived way out too, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
He did. He probably spent the night at my house at least 3-4 nights a week, easy, just because he lived too far out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always envied everybody who lived in Villaggio. Just that's where everything was happening. I mean, there was Torre di Quartasolo, but it just felt like that's where everybody goes. And so whether you're just in your own house or whatever, it just felt like I'm way out in the boonies in my house with my parents, TV.
And we knew that, but it didn't seem that way because we always was at the team club. We always, did everything together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if we spent 18 hours a day with each other, it still felt like, wait, where are you guys going? Oh, they're all going to Villaggio and I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the whole getting up early, because if you wanted to get out and do stuff, we didn't have a phone. Well, we didn't have a phone. So it's like you made plans the night before. Okay, meet me on the 8:30 shuttle bus so we can do this or do that. And then if you miss that shuttle bus, meet me by the theater. You didn't have a phone to say, whatever. So you just worked it. My kids was like, oh my gosh, you didn't even have a house phone? I'm like, no.
But Vanesha, didn't the Ortizes were the only ones on our little block that had a phone, weren't they?
The Ortizes, yeah. And look, I just found his picture.
Yeah.
Sick.
Oh wow.
So if you had an emergency, but yeah, you didn't have a phone. The phones were so when I went back and lived there as an adult, we had a phone because my husband was in command. So we had, and it was the weirdest thing to have a phone because I was like, I don't even know. Dialing all these numbers. I'm like, who the heck wants to dial these when I'm trying to dial the states,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Wow. So that's good memories. Food. Come on. You guys haven't even mentioned food to start. Like you gotta have something you're like dreaming that you could get your hands on for lunch today. What would that be?
So my favorite was penne alla arrabbiata, and I had to perfect that because Italy spoiled me. I think I'm a food critique. I'm like, nothing is good enough. Going to where? Carrabba's. What the hell is a Carrabba's? We go there and then I'm like, that is not pizza. My kids think I'm bougie. I don't eat pizza. And I have to find somewhere that has brick oven, Italian, and prosciutto. And they're like, Mom, pizza's pizza. I'm like, you bring me some Papa John's or Pizza Hut,
That's
So
Yep.
that has definitely, I learned to make a lot of it because you don't get that type of Italian cuisine. You have to really look here in the States, to find it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got Spock over there.
That's my son. That's my baby right there. He's a mama's boy. He gonna lay up on me whenever he can. So.
Well, enjoy it because there's a point where they don't.
Right.
He ain't got to yet.
So
Well, I remember we went on a sports trip to Rome, and I still remember us stopping at a bus stop, and I had the best Italian lasagna I have ever eaten in my whole life, and I still remember how it tastes and everything, and I've never had it again.
and as Eric, as you try to describe it to your friends about you're at a bus stop,
They
right?
don't get
And
it.
they're like, what? They're like, oh, you just don't understand.
I had the best lasagna at a bus stop.
Yeah, and they're like,
Trust me.
oh, okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
ordering pizza and with your American accent, and you want pepperoni, and you get a pizza back with peppers on it. It's just like, I ordered this. Oh, you want salami?
No, I don't want
didn't
salami.
want
I don't want salami. I want pepperoni. You want peppers?
Right. That's what I ordered.
Good point. Those are perfect. But you're right. But hey, Vanesha, follow my feed. I like to, I don't know. I like to show off the food that like I found a place, right? And I live in Boston, so I have a bit of.
Yes, when we were up there in the Rhode Island, and then we would go to Boston all the time. I promise you, other than the weather, I was in heaven. I'm like, this is it. This is it. They were like, Mom, you two have food.
That's so true. I forgot about that. You were up here. I'm sorry.
We missed each other. Remember, we kept trying to hook up. We missed each other because I didn't have a life. I didn't have a schedule. It was my kids' schedule.
But you got back. You found that when you had that first bite, and this is probably where you guys remember it. It's like when you taste something that tastes authentic, like Italian food. You're like, wait, who is this? Is it Italian? What are the ingredients? How did you do this?
They're so excited.
No. You just know. And that food's like that everywhere in Italy. And it's like, it's not here. So, but, anyway, I found some good places. Sorry, Eric, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were
No, you're fine. No, I mean, obviously you can relate to say that to someone and they just don't understand. Oh, yeah. I can't describe it because they wouldn't understand. They're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Marcus, how about you? What foods do you remember or?
Those Italian pizzas, there's nothing like them. There's how right
I knew you was gonna say it. I can't find a real Italian pizza. No matter, I do brick oven, but it's still not the same. Everything's still just so much heavier here, as far as from what I remember.
Yep.
So I remember going to Venice and sitting in those little restaurants and eating those little, pretty much a personal pizza.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bigger than the plate, but it was just so much better. All the toppings just seemed fresher and better and lighter and. Like I said, I just can't find that. I cannot find that.
Yeah.
I remember that time me and Marcus Harold, we all had that big wagon wheel pizza. That's like it was about 30 inches. And it was nothing but the cheese pizza. Probably cost us $2.
It was bread and cheese. That's all it was, bread and cheese.
That's the thing too, when you're over there and you first order. I remember going out when we first got there, my dad took us out to the restaurant and we're trying to get to know. And they, pizza, and they're like, my dad's like, one large pizza, one large, extra large pizza. And they're like, one, like, he's like, yeah. And they're like, no. And they're trying to explain to us, everybody gets a pizza. My dad's like, no. My dad's very dramatic, loud as hell, no, we want one pizza, and then they're telling us you get these individual pizzas and you're like, what in the world?
I've heard the opposite too, where Italians, that they're not used to that big shared pie. So it's like when that big pie shows up at the table, they're like, oh my God, and they don't want to offend, so they'll start to eat the whole thing. They're like, unless you're going at it to help them understand that, they might eat the whole thing for you. You might watch. It has happened. So
wow, yeah.
Monique,
it was also Italy. I had my first about 4 or 5 course meal. I'd always heard of it, but never experienced one. And sat down and they start you off and with the whatever light appetizers and then salad and all that good stuff, and then the main dish and then dessert and everything else behind. I was like, what is this? And food just never stopped coming.
They did that at prom, remember?
Yeah,
when we went to that castle, and I was like, whoa, this is the best. They keep bringing out food.
Yes.
So excited. But it was the best. I was pregnant overseas. Now, that was the best, to be pregnant over there. And then all I had to do was walk into a restaurant. And boy, I got service and served. My husband's like, what the hell are these guys doing? And I'm like, shut up. Because then they would feed me for free. I was like, just sit over there and just pretend you just with me or something. They would cater that to those women.
Monique, how about you? What food hits for you?
I don't really know that I have a favorite.
You can like them all. Just pick one.
I'm gonna say Italian is not my favorite food category. But I'll say this, and I'm gonna say this only because I can't even remember the name of the street we lived on, Vanesha, but we had the Filipino family that was on the end.
Maria Lagman.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I
Concept.
got to eat some things that were I would have never had anyways, because we had such an eclectic neighborhood. And so that was the first time we had lupia. She make for us all the time. And I was like, oh, this is delicious.
Lumpia,
I make them now.
pancit
And
noodles.
your dad would make shrimp and grits. And I was just, I had to find that in my head to remember how to make shrimp and grits as good as Mr. Young's shrimp and grits were. And so, you know, he was bringing up that, you know, his kind of flavor in it. And so I just love food. I love different kinds of food. Italian just happens to not be my favorite, but I just love all kinds of food. And you know, when you get an authentic pizza versus an American style pizza, and so you know, it's like it's definitely different. My kids don't know the difference, but when I get it, I'm just like, oh my god, this is the best pizza ever.
Yep. Like deep dish is not pizza. That's just like a
No, it's not. No.
I'm like, I don't, you know, someone famous made a comment like that and got a lot of grief lately. It was like, but it's true. My wife was like, you've been saying that. Marcus, tell me about the 5-course meal. Like, did you know that's what you were getting into? Were you being, you know?
I had no idea. I can't remember who I was with that meal. You know, I just know we went down and sat and to eat, and the food just kept coming. And I just know I had my eyes were bugged, and I was enjoying myself, and never expected. I think that was when I was recently to Italy too. I hadn't been there long when that happened, so that just stuck out. Like, wow, this is going to be like this for 3 years. So yeah, that just amazed me. Then of course our little pit stops whenever you know, those are long Naples and Rome trips, and you got 15 minutes, get off the bus and be back, and we run to a bar, get some, take a shot or two, run on back, and you know, get in some mischief in like 10-15 minutes and come back to the bus and enjoy ourselves for the rest of the ride.
You're right. I know.
Like that, stand out.
Yes, that was the best part too, Marcus. I remember. So when I got to the States and I'm in college, you know, I get my little fake ID and going to the clubs, and my friends, they're ordering Mad Dog and Boone's Farm, and I was like, Amaretto, please. Can I please have Amaretto and a shot of Sambuca, please? They're like, what the hell is that?
Exactly.
I'm drinking Moscato. They're drinking, you know, whatever it was. And so they always say, they're like, you were just drinking like bougie stuff. We didn't even know what the heck that stuff was.
So true.
Yeah.
It's only been a few decades, so I mean, you know.
And then I remember vividly also, we stopped in Rome and being able to walk around the Colosseum and walk through the Forum and things like that. Just on a trip home. Like, this is wasn't even something planned. This is on a trip home. Let's go to the Colosseum. You know, just on a whim. You know, where can you really do something like that?
I think you need to take on teaching history as well as math. I think you got expertise.
No, I know my forte.
I was going to say, Marcus, you had such a heavy influence on my brother for track and field. I mean, he just absolutely adored you as far as, you know, teaching him how to do the hurdles, because he did the hurdles all through college. He wanted to play football, but he ended up going to a school that didn't have football, so he ran track and he did hurdles, and he was just amazing. He loved it. He loved it. I just remember you teaching him that, taking him under your wing and teaching him how to do hurdles.
You know, we were all about passing the torch.
And he's a math professor as well. He teaches at a college. He just got his doctorate degree, so he's Dr. McCoy now.
Wow.
Never to be seen on Facebook, by the way.
Right. Every once in a while he'll come on, but he's not too much on Facebook. Yeah,
that's
especially
good.
Recently, because he's been working on his doctorate, and so he ain't had time for none of that. And then plus, you know, he has MS, and so he gets tired easily, and so you know he's dealing with some stuff. I mean, he doesn't take any medication, so he's not presenting symptoms so much, but you know, he definitely has. He knows he has MS, and so you know he acts accordingly. I'll say it like that.
I think that was a good thing too in Italy. Those who were leaving out as we were coming in, you know, they kind of passed that torch along. You do not see that at all in the States. It's almost like an athlete, like this is my lane. I'm gonna keep this, and they're not passing that torch along to those that, you know, that are coming up behind them. It's like it's a dog-eat-dog world.
Right.
Monique, please tell your brother we say hello. I mean, I know everybody feels the same. I do miss your brother too. I mean, I always thought of him as kind of, he looked like Carl Lewis to me. So, and
he's a crazy thing. He's a crazy thing. He's married. He's got 2 kids. Both of his kids are in college, and so he's a crazy fella still.
He's in that video we were talking about with Willie Ellis running the 100.
And he's rubbing his shoulders like he's his wingman or something. I'm like, why are you rubbing his shoulders like that?
Well, later when you see my dad talking about meeting up at the club with, you know, people's moms, I'm like, what?
We're gonna boogie tonight. I read that.
I'm like, that's my dad. I think I know where I get that from. So yeah, I miss my dad. I know you guys do too. I know.
Yes,
absolutely.
You know, the fun. The fun that I mean, it was just such a great community. Back to that point, and just we felt comfortable. And I just know that his style was really about inspiring people, and I think
you can speak to him like heart to heart. Like he didn't speak down to you. He didn't do, you know, whatever. One minute he might cuss you out, but the next minute he's like hugging you. I love you. He's like, you know, you're still kind of in your feelings. You're like, you want me to run after this? You know, he's like, I want you to try the high jump today. No, coach, I'm not doing the high jump. Next thing you know, I'm doing the high jump because coach jumps. He's like, I don't even know how to do that. You know.
We had a great time. In basketball, on occasion, halftime, we'd get a coach pep talk, which really was back in those days. It was uncensored and.
Oh gosh, yeah. Who helped with the boy? It was Summers, right? No, he helped with track. Was it Summers?
It was Summers, and then it depended on the years. So usually it was a father who had kids involved in the game. Like Mr. Lavello took over later on when we've all moved on. His kids were in the prime time. At Mr. Minnan, James Minnan's dad.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
He was there. But yeah, I mean, and speaking of the halftime things, it was about breaking people down to kind of get those whatever thing, the hangups that they were hanging on, and clear the base. So and then rebuilding them so that they go out and focus and put their head in the game because. I mean, you know, at our age at that time, you have so many distractions. You're like, oh, my girlfriend's here. I got to show off. I got to look good. I got to look good in my new Air Jordans or something. And, you know, and my dad could pick up on that right away and notice that you were distracted. And so he would take care of that for us. So, but anyway, it was a lot of fun. It was a bummer that we played against Aviano, who was incredible. They were just such talent. Naples had it one year, and then you know playing against the Aviano basketball team was ridiculous. Keith Crawford, Dave Kinney,
Marcus Corbin.
Yeah, like
what was that white dude's name? The big stocky, because he ran track too.
Dave Kenny is the one that came to my mind, but he was tall. But yeah, those guys were just so powerful. We didn't have a chance. They were so good. They were just that good. Anyway. So what else? What else about good old Vicenza that you know, do you guys stay in touch with other folks? You know, you still have a good tight knit group? I mean, I know we're only a Zoom call away or whatever, or a Facebook post away, but you just kind of, to your point, it's not the same Vicenza community like it was, but we still have each other on Facebook, which the least I can say is that's the only good thing about Facebook.
That's what made me happy, because I thought, you know, after we left Italy that, you know, we wouldn't see each other again. You know, Vanesha and I had talked when I was in basic training and she was in college. But other than that, I had ran into a few people from Aviano, Alan Schomburg. He and I both were in the military at the time. And so then when Facebook came about, and then everybody started joining. And, oh my God, I get to see the people that I thought I'd never see again in my lifetime. So that is the one thing that I love about it, that keeps me on that platform, is to be able to see you all, see your families, Dave, I see your beautiful kids, Monique, Vanesha, Shaun, Marcus. You put a post on there about making a difference in one of the girls. I think she passed a test, or she understood something about math, and I thought that was great. So yeah, this is why I stay on this platform, just to see how everybody's lives are evolved, and what you're doing. It's amazing.
Yeah, keep the community.
Well, let me break in here real quick. Sorry, it is time for me to roll. But I am so glad that I got this chance to spend with all of you. Shaun will be able to do this again with some other group of folks, or whatever. But if you need me to pop in, I'm only a Zoom call away.
Right.
I love you all. Take care.
See you, Dave.
Dave. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think I've seen each one of you since high school, all but you, Shaun. Monique, when I was living in Virginia, you came to my daughter's 5th year birthday party. Remember that? She had the whole princess birthday party thing. And then you came for my baby shower. You came to my baby shower when I was pregnant with Micah. And
you came to my house one year for Christmas, I believe.
And I knew it was something like that. Yeah. And then Marcus, remember when we were living in Columbus, Georgia, my husband, we saw you.
Yeah, you drove up.
We came up to Atlanta. And I've been in touch with a lot. Jabrell and I talk quite frequently. Cheryl Thornhill and I do.
Charles Steele
and I, we talk. It was a while where we didn't, but once Facebook came on, I think we reunited, because he was only an hour away from me, Birmingham.
How's he doing? I didn't really touch base with him too much. Is he good?
He's doing good. He's in Kentucky. I crack up because like Monique and him, y'all with the smaller kids, I'm like, well, the younger kids, it's like, woo!
Yeah,
even you too, Shaun.
I laugh at that too. I'm like, I'm done with that.
I have my 16-year-old and he can't get out soon enough,
Right.
Yeah, you start counting it down.
15-year-old.
Yeah, I have my son, my oldest just turned 25 last Saturday.
Wow.
And then I have the 22-year-old, so.
I got a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old. So that's my life. And then plus 900 other little grown people who want to call me mom. And I'll be like, I ain't your mama. Don't come in here every day. I'm not your mom. I got
and we're here for that moral support. Don't hold your arms up. But there's quite a few. I'm still, even like Denise Catacooten, you remember from Naples? Denise and I have always pretty much been in touch. And then when I lived in Texas, she actually came and stayed with me for a little while. But we were good friends over there. I used to go to Naples and stay with her, and she took that 12-hour train ride down to Naples, and she's come up, and so we've stayed in touch pretty well.
McCoy's? Brad?
Oh, I just saw them last week. So Allison, Heather, all of it, we've been like trying to meet since I've been here for 6 years, and I have not. And so my daughter was here and did a little bracelet pop-up shop, and they saw where I put it on Facebook, and they look, we all have our mask on, and they're like, Nisha? And I'm like, in my mind, yeah, but who are you? Because I can't see with the mask. So she takes her mask down, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're out in the middle of the field. And I jump over to tell my daughter's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I went to high school with them, So we saw each other, and that was really refreshing. That was so nice. We talked for a good hour, And they literally live right around the corner from where I am now. So
that's awesome.
It's great.
I obviously I'm connected with a lot of people, and it's always fun when people come to town for whatever reason and you make time to hang out. But I stay in touch with Jamie Pellerito. I've got the unicorn access. I've got the code key.
Oh, you do.
I do. It's still limited access because he's just a busy guy. I mean,
he's hardly on Facebook. How's he doing?
Good. I mean, busy. He's teaching in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't remember the school. I apologize. I'll find out. But yeah, I mean, so he was in Indiana. So most of the time he's been in New York since we left, and then we left Italy, and then which I used to see him there quite frequently, and then now Indiana for a little bit. So in Atlanta teaching most everything Zoom calls, but I think also Mrs. Pellerito, his mother, is in their care. And she looks great. Remember, I think they were watching the
elections. Oh,
watching
that
the
was
elections.
such a picture.
Yeah. So, that's been great seeing them. I usually see his older, one of his sisters, not the oldest, Becky. I see Jenny, who's the middle, and she teaches in Columbia in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I don't recall. I mean, she's at Columbia. I don't know if she's a teacher or faculty member or whatever, technical terminology. I'm just happy to see Jenny. I just remember Jenny forever.
Well, you know who I just saw recently? I forgot. She stopped by when she's in town. I always see her, LaShonda Mack.
Yeah.
She's always around town. She has really good friends, but she's always here. She's in the military, a lieutenant colonel, doing very well. Yeah. So she always makes a point to, when she's in town, to we all hook up and see each other.
Mm-hmm.
I remember her well. I remember her for a joke that I will not share on this call, but I will tell you that she was very chatty at the movie theater. It was one time. Anyway, I do miss her. She was a funny character. She was hysterical.
She's done so well professionally. I'm so proud of her. And then she has her own businesses as well on the side, her little side hustles. So she's got 2 UPS stores, one in Fort Gordon and one up in Virginia, as well as the something popcorn that she's done in different. So she
like the kettle corn pot.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's awesome. America allows that kind of freedom.
Yes, absolutely. Your daughter is like amazing. Just love my bracelet. I still wear my bracelet.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
She has some bills to pay.
Well, you've shown hustle, Vanesha. You've shown her the hustle. I mean, I didn't get to work at the commissary. I don't know if I'd have had the time or whatever to do it, or the flexibility, because
I don't know how I did it between all of those practices, and then I had a job. Then I used to babysit, but I mean, my dad, staff sergeant with 4 kids. Y'all know how that is. It was like, if I wanted anything extra or to keep up with my living style, which I think my daughter gets from, and that's what she said. Well, you used to do that. I said, yeah, but I could afford my style. I funded myself.
Who do you guys? I mean, just play that game of like, do you know where somebody is? I'm just curious. I might have contact or context to where somebody might be. If you're curious, I'm just,
Oh, let's see.
It's the Jeopardy music, and again, rest in peace, Alex Trebek. I got, the world is turning over. But I mean, Marcus, for the most part, I see Marcus on Instagram. He's got his. He makes me feel guilty about my exercise limitations.
I know.
That's my peace of mind.
You do a great job with that. Thank you, and keep it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's.
I was on the roll, then I dropped out, Marcus. I quit. I was doing real well. My son was like, "You're doing really good, Mom." And then one day it was like, "Ooh." I think what happened was it was around the time for my birthday, and I was like, "Damn it, I'm 49. Next year I'll be 50." And I got in my feelings, and I just stopped.
I had to, I just hit 50 this year, so I was, I got to keep it going.
I got to get mentally prepared.
Yeah, my grandkids are walking now, so I got to keep up with them.
Oh, man. I told mine don't bring that home. Oh God.
So what I want to do, if you guys don't mind, time wise, we're good. I'm going to close out the recording for the podcast, and then we can kind of chat up a little bit or wrap up and say goodbye and all that good stuff for now. Even though I know we could sit here for days, but so again, thanks everybody for joining and for being a part of this podcast. I look forward to sharing it with everybody, and we should get together more often, even if it's not a recorded session. But
Absolutely.
wanted to say that. So thank you. All right.
Thank you.